Well, we have some of the most beautiful birds in the world right here in Australia, and even on a rainy day when they don't look their best, they still know how to brighten things up. Check out these magpies singing in the rain. It's a beautiful sound, isn't it, Evie?
That's Australia.
Yeah.
And that's
it's
mornings.
Erinsborough.
Yeah, it is.
It is Erinsborough. It's Ramsay Street. Maggie's one of, well, over 800 species of birds across Australia. They are. And right now we are finding out how to make them more welcome in our lives. We're catching up with wildlife ecologist Dr. Gráinne Cleary. Hello, Gráinne. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me back on.
And speaking of magpies, you've dressed for the occasion. Let's zoom in on that cracking dress you have.
Actually, look at a tattoo as well.
Amazing.
Oh, that's so cute.
When you go walking through magpie-infested areas, do you have to wear then a helmet with spikes on it to keep them away? Do they flock to you?
No, they don't. They sit there, look me in the eye and give me a nice call, because it's all about respecting the magpie and just giving a little nod and saying, you've got your own problems. How are you doing?
I love you. Talk to us about how they speak to each other.
So this is a lot of birds in Australia. Because our birds are so long-lived, they have a longer childhood than birds in the UK or birds in America. And because of that, they're constantly interacting with others in their family or in their social group. So they have to learn from each other, and how they learn from each other is by communicating with each other. And they do this through calling, and they can do little calls, you know, that are just going to be heard by the bird next to them, or they look the bird in the eyes. It's about eye contact and beak pointing as well.
Well, at our place, we have lots and lots of birds visiting, all different kinds and shapes and sizes. And we do feed them. We feed them seed, you know, so is that okay?
It is. For birds that like the parrot family or the dove family, they do take seed anyway. So that is okay. It's more that you just don't want to be feeding them large quantities. Have it more of a snack. But isn't it like that amazing interaction you get with birds? Like, they want to be in our lives. They come up to us. Bird feeding in Australia is much more an intense experience than it is in the UK, because the birds are a lot bigger and they look you in the eye and they're not frightened of you. Not like the nice little British robin that goes, hello, if you don't mind. In Australia they come up, look you in the eye and say, oi, where's me dinner, mate? But it's that reward, it's that interaction that we can get in our back garden.
Gráinne, are the birds watching us? Like, do they work out who they like and who they don't like?
This is exactly it. So, as I said, because our birds are so long-lived, they'll often hold the same territory for years and years and years. So they get to know you, and they get to see who's walking past and who's in their territory. So it's more like you're living in their territory. And they do watch you, and they watch you come in, and they'll meet you in your back garden if you're feeding them, to get their dinner. And these are some of the stories I was told. So this book came about by the stories from the public about their interactions with birds, and asking me, these birds have a personality. These birds are talking to me. This can't be happening. And once I went in and read about Australian birds and did the research, they do interact with us. And part of this is, the loss of their habitat naturally, that they're forced into tighter areas with us. So we're coming and we're overlapping with birds a lot more than we used to.
Gráinne, if we would like to attract more birds to our backyards, what sort of food can we put out? We put out, it's frozen bread, Ange, I'm sorry. It's not what we have, it's the leftover crusts in the freezer. What sort of things should we be feeding birds, and what should we be staying away from?
Okay, stay away from bread. Bread is really bad.
No.
It's like, we're not meant to eat that much white bread either. No, bread is really bad. Seeds and fruit. It's multigrain.
Is that all right? But it is frozen.
But another, you can also put in a bird bat, put in some water.
Okay.
Put in more vegetation, so put in more structure in your garden. Don't just have the same plants. Try to have your vegetation at different levels, so there's different niches for the birds to hide in, different little areas for the birds to hide in.
Can we leave out little
and
pieces
also
of
net boxes?
little pieces of meat and things like that? Can we do that?
There is a website you can go to that, and this is the food that vets use and animal, you know, carers would use. And it's like a powder you can put over the meat. So it's like giving the magpie a little vitamin.
Yes.
A little vitamin tablet with just a bit of meat. So you're giving it a lot more nutrition.
Well, that's a great
idea. And you're
idea.
then, you know, kind of still giving it some food.
Yeah.
So you can still have your great interaction, but you're giving the bird a lot more healthier food.
Oh, great.
So you'd be excited that kookaburras are on our new $20 bill then?
I am so excited. I think this is great because Australia is the home of all birds. All birds evolved in Australia. So it's brilliant that we're celebrating them. And we're not celebrating those tiny little birds no one ever see, but instead those Australian adapters that live with us.
Well, there's lots more you can find out about gorgeous Australian birds in Gronya's new book. It's called Your Backyard Birds. And you know what, Gronya? We reckon you're a pretty good bird as well.
Hey!
Oh, thank you very much.
I think that's the ultimate compliment. being called
Absolutely.
a good bird.
Good
Do you
bird.
reckon?
Yep, absolutely.
Gronya, love your work. We'll see you next time.
OK, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, after this very short break,